Podcast. This is your host, Shanice LaBerg, and I'm here with a special guest. Like, you guys don't understand how excited I am about this interview. I'll probably sound like I probably say that to every episode I've had because I'm excited about this podcast. But on a serious note, like this young lady, she first of all, she's always been the same, always great energy and just super cool. But just to know and understand all the strides that she's made since we met in high school is just, I'm just in awe of her. So I'm excited about what she's about to bring to the table and to discuss because we are trying to make a difference in our communities. This is just not, us doing a show and we want to be like, hey, y'all, you see me. We don't do stuff just for show. She could be doing other things, I promise you. But I don't take it lightly that she joined us on tonight. So her name is Monique Powell. She is the chief executive of the Cloud Center. And I just want to welcome her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna start asking her questions, and you're gonna see why I invited her on. She has a heart for the youth, just like I do. She has a heart for the community, and she's not a person who talks a lot. She gets things done, and that's what I admire her the most about. And it's very inspiring. So, our goal is, as I keep saying, I keep trying to remember my little saying that God gave me, the she 3 E's, which is to encourage, empower, and to educate. So that's what we are absolutely here to do tonight. So if you have any questions or anything, you can contact her. What's the email? Do you rather email or
contact at thecloudy.org, or you can call here 516-223-KIDS.
Love it. See that? Kids. All right. So let's start with, you can give us a little background about yourself, your education, and then we can tap into, your childhood, because having a heart for kids doesn't come from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's a gift. It's a gift.
I grew up in Hempstead. I went through the entire Hempstead school district. And growing up here, I realized that it was so much that I've learned from my environment, but there was also some things that my environment didn't show me, right? Long Island is, highly segregated. You can go over one zip code, one area code. It was completely different. And I had the opportunity to have my first job at 14. Thank you to Don Ryan.
Shout out to Don, me too. Okay, now.
And Thomas Parsley.
Parsley. What's up, Thomas?
They got me a job at Planned Parenthood. 14, didn't know anything about money or paycheck. I knew I was without.
Right.
I knew I needed more, and to get a paycheck empowered me.
Right.
It opened up doors. My colleagues were from different school districts other than my school district. My peers loved me because of what I did at Planned Parenthood. I traveled Nassau County, and then I realized that the world was bigger than Hempstead.
Right. Come on,
because I thought every area looked the same, and there was nothing wrong with my community because I'm there.
Right.
But to know that there's so much more out there, and it's only a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Right.
It's only a N27 or N15
right.
away.
That's the bus, y'all. In for Nassau.
There was no Uber at that time.
Right.
But to know that there are kids that's just like you, that are in different areas, that feel the same, that want the same, maybe have a different skin colors, a different background, and may even have a different economic status, more money. May have a traditional home, a mother and a father. I came from a single where the mom was matriarch and the great grandmother was in charge. So, in having all those, it definitely changed my outlook.
Right.
Being able to go further and see more, I decided that that's what I want to give back. That's how I got here. Growing up, education was my way out.
Right.
And it may be different now, hence student loans and things like that. Education was my way out, and I decided just to go to school. Didn't know anything. Didn't know what to do. Enrolled myself into Nassau when I was in 12th grade just to take a class. Decided to just apply to Old Westbury.
Right.
They told me no, and I was like, nope. So I told Mr. Davis, you have to help me. I have to get to the school. And I watched Boomerang.
Okay.
So Boomerang is one of my favorite movies.
Mine too. It's about Eddie Murphy, y'all.
and
Robin Givens.
I wanted to be them. It
Classic.
was something about the money,
the glam that
they had.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about influential in movies and things like that. And I realized
Eddie Murphy from Long Island too, y'all.
Yes, he is right from Roosevelt, where the center is at. So I looked up marketing, and I said, okay, I'm gonna be a marketing executive. What do I need to do? I went to the library, Hempstead High School. We all know what a library is, the glass doors. And I researched marketing executive, and it said salary 100K. And this was like in 1997 to date myself. And it said $100,000. You just need to get a bachelor's degree. I said,
you like, I'm in.
I'm in. So I went to Old Westbury and said, "Oh, you have a business program. I'm majoring in business."
Let's go, Mo.
And
Let's
that's where it started.
Love it.
Yeah, I have my bachelor's from Old Westbury. It took a while, right, to do it.
But she did it.
I did it. I got my associates from Nassau in business management. I have an MBA from LIU Brooklyn. I have an MPA from LIU Brooklyn.
Explain to people, what the difference is.
Yeah, so a master's. Familiar. So growing up, not having anything and not having opportunity, my moral code of conduct was to get everything and make myself marketable.
Love it.
And I always found different avenues to get it done. You just couldn't tell me no, because I know what no feels like. I know what nothing. So I'm not going back that way. So I
love that.
You like that?
She said, "I know what no feels like, and I'm not going back to that."
Yeah, if that's the pain?
That better catch that thing, honey. That just
yeah. So I originally wanted my MBA first, but in order for you to get an MBA, you have to have certain grades. Right?
Okay.
You have to be ready to do it. So I didn't have the tools, or I felt I didn't have the tools, and I didn't want to take this GMAT exam. I don't believe too much in test taking and determining where you are.
Yeah, there's a whole debate about those things.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I decided to get what they call a master's in public administration first.
Okay.
So that is to run any public organization, to be in a public office, and I did that first, and that wasn't my passion. But
let me just say this: if you listen to what she said, one door, she felt like, okay, that's not going to do it, but that's not going to make me not do it. So I got to go through another way.
Yeah.
It's still going to get done.
Oh yeah.
But I had to go a whole other route, which means she still got the attitude like, you can't tell me no.
Yeah,
I need y'all to catch that.
I think they made me temporarily like non-matriculated, so I actually had to take a course that I had to pay for in order to be fully enrolled in the program. I still took it because it wasn't a no.
Right.
I did my MPA knowing that I read in their booklet that if you take an MPA, then you could actually go and take your MBA without having to take this GMAT exam.
All right. Look at how he will make waves when you first of all, when you research. That's a lot of times our issue. We just like, okay, they said no. Okay, they said no.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, let me see what else they're going to say.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I can do to get around this thing because I actually want it.
Yeah.
No was not an option. Girl, go ahead.
Thank you. So I did that. I did an MPA and then I continued on and I did an MBA, which is a Master's in Business Administration. And then I continued on for my Master's in Human Resources. Because when you're going to the school, all they're doing is transferring your credits and it doesn't seem as long as it is.
Right.
And at that point, if education is my way out, then that piece of paper of education, I needed to have.
That. Mm-hmm.
So then at the same time, I became a business teacher in Brooklyn, and it was the best time of my life to be able to.
Really?
Yeah, I was 26, and I was a teacher at 26. So
I love that.
My students was 10 years younger than me, and it was the best moment in my life to be able to show business and to give back.
So what made it the best though?
They say you're a great teacher when you could change one life. Right? When you can impact a life of students and have it. So I am still in my students' life.
Yeah.
I am around. They're around. They've been in the Cloud Center. They help me.
I love that.
So I once felt when you have this childhood where you don't feel loved as much or you're searching for something, children can give that to you.
Yeah.
Right? And you have a time where you can make that up. Right? You can recreate love for anybody. And what I did as a business teacher is one of my philosophies is that resources, opportunity, information is powerful.
Yes.
So if you give kids the resources that they don't have, you meet them at their starting point, right? Wherever they are. And if you front load and give them the resources, information, opportunity that they need, they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I had Brooklyn. I had high school students who never left Brooklyn,
right?
Who never did anything. I think they were casted out, but that again, you're not going to tell me no, right? And I showed them how to do business. I showed them what paychecks look like. There's a gap, right? And this is why I came into education. There's a gap with what do you want to do? Where you at? There's no link for right? We as adults, we forget that. So I wanted to show them you have to take English because you need to read your paycheck, right? You need to take English because you need to write a resume. You need to have social studies because you need history when you're sitting at a table making a business decision.
Right.
You need to have something else
Come
to
on,
talk
Mo.
about, right?
Absolutely.
And it's okay to have those culture enriched items to talk about. It's okay to talk about your neighborhood, but the world is so much bigger than our area where we are. So what would make you well-rounded? So these students, I mean, they received their DMV testing at the school. I took them to Baltimore, Maryland. They had senior class trip in Orlando Studios, and they said that these Brooklyn kids from Bushwick would never leave Bushwick or the projects and didn't have any money. And they did internships, they job shadowed, they received jobs, and it was like
so this young teacher from Long Island comes to Brooklyn because I've even brought up how, like she said, everything's all divided with New York and everything. People don't really always know about Long Island because we're like the suburbs. But so this young teacher, 26 years old, teaching a business class, started to open up, the horizons of these students that would probably not have received this, but it was personal to her because her attitude is there's no. Like, you got to push through this thing. You need to learn these different things. And I want you guys to understand how intricate that is. And that's the attitude we should have when it comes to, being educators and when it comes to making strides in our communities, because their encounter with her probably changed their life for the rest of their life. If they never encountered her, it's probably certain things they wouldn't have learned or even had a desire because all they know was Brooklyn. So that was awesome.
Thank you. So I did that. I worked my way up in education, and I kept the same moral conduct. Sorry, I kept those things in mind of giving everybody who comes my way with resources, information. I try not to hold it in.
Right.
And if you meet me, I'm always providing that. That is something that I live by. So these students now are all over, very very helpful, and they're part of my network.
Love that.
Right?
Divine connection.
Yeah. So I worked my way up until I became an administrator.
In the same
in New York City.
Yep.
So I stayed within New York City, and then I moved to opening up and helping out charter schools.
Okay.
So I assist with transitional charter schools, those who are phasing out, new. I do a lot of coaching, leadership. I was a charter school administrator for years. I opened up a charter school in the Bronx. It was 500 students, brand new building. But then I realized something, right? As I go along and as I started to build my family.
One question. What made you do the Bronx?
Again, opportunity. Okay. It's whoever took me.
Right.
So I applied out here in Long Island, and that's a whole nother conversation.
We're gonna get there.
We'll talk about the time frame of when this happened and who was in charge and things like that. Because as an administrator, I understand those things.
Right.
But it wasn't my time. That's another thing. Right. So it wasn't my time.
It's timing, honey.
Nor was I ready.
Right.
Because personally, what I did.
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Nor was I ready.
No, I wasn't ready. I ran from my time.
Sometimes people get excited and they feel like I got the credentials, I got the education, I'm good, I should be able to do this. And no. Not really, beloved.
No, I owe it to my community to come back full force
and be right.
Yeah. And that takes age, experience, resources. I didn't have that yet. I was still growing, nurturing, and figuring out who I am. Yeah. So the city accepted me. Right. The city is more diverse. Right. The city it has a different market. I was young, right? So if you look out here, retirement is different, right?
Absolutely.
These positions are filled for years. Right. And I dip and dab out here a little bit, but I was able to grow, and that's where I wanted to be, right? So coming from Long Island to the city, you do that here and there, and that's where the melting pot of the city assisted me with learning diversity. Learning that you could live in Brooklyn and make six figures and live in a certain area with someone who makes less than you.
Right.
Didn't understand that from Long Island.
That's true.
Right?
That's so true. I didn't think about that.
And all this I'm telling you is the reason why we're here at the Cloud Center as well, is because I grew up with Hempstead and Garden City right here, and not understanding what that looks like. Because when you go to the city, it's all this.
Okay, so let me for those who don't know anything about Long Island or the dynamics, she mentioned Hempstead, where we're from. Hempstead is predominantly Black, and then there's literally one street that separates Hempstead and another town called Garden City. And just to give you a picture of the type of people who live there, what was her name? Erica Kane.
Yep. Erica Kane. Yep.
I can't remember her name, her government name, but Erica Kane.
Susan Lucci.
Yes, thank you.
She's
Susan
now
Lucci lived in Garden City. So there's these beautiful, huge homes. Everything is manicured. The grass, all these things. And the next block over is actually where I grew up, where it's infested with drugs and violence and prostitution. And actually, on the one little strip that separates the two towns, prostitution all up and down and
Filter.
everything. So it was, yeah, that's where she.
Yeah, imagine growing up and that you as a child you can't even go over there. We used to go over there for Halloween, and so imagine just growing up that way. Where are the aspirations? Where are the resources?
Come on, Monique.
To me, it was saying it was okay to be like that. And some people listen.
Right.
I'm not saying staying means it's okay. I'm just saying at that point, I didn't have an option.
Right.
But I knew that I wanted better. So if I go back, when I worked at Planned Parenthood, I had a coworker my age.
Tell them what Planned Parenthood
So Planned Parenthood is in Hempstead and Fulton Street. It's Planned Parenthood in Nassau County. I was a teen advocate. So I was hired to talk about sexually transmitted infections and preventing in our neighborhood. So they trained me, and then I went back to my neighborhood and I communicated to my peers, which was kind of funny and ironic. I guess that's where my public speaking come in.
Right.
And I was able to talk about birth control, and that's where I learned people, right? Mm-hmm. So that's another thing is going outside. You get to learn more.
And let me. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm a visual person, so I'm sorry I may cut you off sometime because I get visions. So I also want you to understand when she's a kid working at Planned Parenthood. This is an environment where they're talking about sex. They're young ladies her age and maybe a little older are coming to get abortions, and they have to come in through this entrance where people are yelling. There's signs. There's people quote a scripture to you. Mm-hmm. So she's a young girl going through this entrance, and then she has to encourage and speak to someone who may look just like her age group, about how to protect themselves and about AIDS and the different things that are going on. So I just wanted to
I gave out condoms, and I learned a lot. I've learned so much about reproduction and health and prevention that it was really big. And I had coworkers that lived in Roslyn, and her and I had so much in common. Mm-hmm. And it was different. She lived in Roslyn, and she was white, and I lived in Hempstead.
Right.
But we wanted the same.
Right.
And I went to her house, and I was like, oh, this is what this. Oh, there's other places. Oh, so you can have a full fridge.
Monique.
And so I inquired, which is another thing. Inquiry is so important. That's some of the things that we do here at the Cloud Center, to inquire, to want to know, to want to learn.
Questions.
Yeah, you ask questions. And I was like, I'm just going to go to school. I'm just going to be able to go back to that Boomerang movie and be like,
yes.
I had something.
That.
So fast forward, I'm in the school systems. I'm in the city. I'm growing. I ended up getting my master's in education. So that's and we'll talk about that later. And became a principal. And
this is in the Bronx?
This is in the Bronx. Okay. Yeah. I worked from Brooklyn to the Bronx.
So the charter school. Yeah. And then you became a principal at that charter school?
Yeah. Wow. It's called the Director of Operations. So with the charter school, that is the person who's in charge of the entire building. I'm not in charge of who's learning, but I am in charge of facilities, HR, the teachers, movement. When
there's an issue.
Yeah, when there's an issue, you come to me. Yes, and that's for a female, it's a non-traditional role. Mm-hmm. For someone from Hempstead, who wasn't supposed to graduate, right?
Right.
Who had 5 English 12th grade teachers that year, right? What else? I failed my math regents, so I didn't get a regents diploma.
Tell the truth in here.
I did. Thank you to Mr. Philibert.
Mr. Philibert.
Yes, I passed the French regents, but I didn't pass my college algebra regents. So hence this is why I'm in education. Yeah. Those decisions can hinder a child. Those decisions that adults make can change the future. Had my philosophy and my moral was like, you can't tell me no, I will be stuck. Right. Because the world then had told us, and I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, they separated us based on an exam. And called us regents and non-regents. And it tore my world apart.
Listen.
I went from social to thinking I'm smart, from not being smart in the class with the top tier. And I know all their names. And
I know all the names too, child.
And
I love that you brought that up because I remember having certain classes with people. Yeah. And then I felt some type of way when I wasn't in any more classes with them because they were known as the smart kids.
Yes.
So if I'm like, I'm in English with such and such, so I gotta be smart, I got math with such and such. I see you with such and such.
But I struggled because
and then you go to a regular class, you're like, okay, something wrong with me in this one? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, these are all the things that I thought about in creating a school and being an administrator of a school. And those were the pivotal parts of my life. And it would have determined so much. But what I had already established based on what I wanted. Where are the kids who did not do that, who can't do that, who can't afford that? Where I struggled because I was popular, I was sociable, and it was the school was telling us you can't be both.
Right.
right? And but that's what Hempstead is all about,
Yeah.
right? That's why we don't have a bus, because we can move around and we could, and so it was all these things that came about, and I said, this is why I'm who I am, and either I don't want the children underneath me to be that way, but then the problem is that I was doing it somewhere else.
Right. Come on.
So
Monique.
I started to have a family of my own, and I started to settle more here. And I realized, well, I'm doing all this in the city. If my kids decide to settle here, because statistically, our kids settle where we are,
Right.
And they're growing here. What do I have to show them? I could take them to the city all they want. And,
Right.
My daughter's in the building, like my mom's in charge of the building. But I want her to have a different story to be able to tell. Because coming from a generation of not having a home, not having things, I wanted something to be able to have, and I wanted my children to be able to see it. I've tried numerous times coming out here, and then I decided that I'm not going to be accepted. All right, I am going to, because now I'm ready. Right. So now I have
love that.
I have this profile. I'll say that is acceptable to a certain point. Right, acceptable to those. And I mean, I'm trying not to speak in codes, but it's about, you don't want to be rejected.
Right.
The trauma girl is still inside of me of trying to be something and gravitate that. But I decided that I needed to do something here.
Right.
I needed to be here.
Where you were from.
Where I'm from.
Right.
And my other half, my children's father's from Hempstead. So it happened.
Yes.
Right? I went all around the world. I've been to Paris. I've been everywhere. And here I am now soaking my oats and create a family back in Hempstead. We're both from Hempstead. So my mother and father are from Hempstead. They graduated from Hempstead. And now my other half, Julie's, we're from Hempstead. And it's okay. And that's
shout out to you.
Yes, that's fine. So, and he has taught me so much about giving back to community. So we came from different paths. And he has.
What do you mean different?
So I went away to school. He is deeply enriched in Hempstead.
Yes, right. I got you.
And I ran, right? Because I couldn't figure out where I fit in, because I thought it wasn't going to help me to get where I'm at. And there's nothing wrong. That's a child just saying home is not nurturing.
Absolutely.
And I need to. And so he was nurtured, right? And I mean, we'll walk down the street, people will say hi to him. They're like, where's she from? And so I was
Do you think it's also because he's a guy? Because, like we said earlier, Hempstead's very divided. So, he's from the hills of Portside.
He is. Ooh, don't please. Let's be precise. I'm sorry. He's from the Drive. He's from D Block.
He's from D Block.
Yeah, he's gonna kill me. But yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Yes,
I got you.
And, but he earned that, and I had to learn that. See, I'm earning what I consider credentials, right?
Right. Which
he's earning his character and his name.
He's coming around now.
Yes. So in having someone like that, because I ran,
right,
and coming back, I felt it was a failure coming back. But then I realized, because I'm coming back. No one's gonna. In the city, I'm that.
It's like you're starting anew.
Yeah.
Where you're from. I get that.
Yeah, so I woke up one day, it was like, here I am. I need to figure it out. And I started to bring more. It was a nonprofit. I worked at Nassau County Youth Board prior to that. And so I knew nonprofit. I knew
To Bring More is the name of the organization.
Yes, so my nonprofit is called To Bring More to the community.
Love the name.
To bring more to Nassau County, to bring more to what we call the corridor, the at-risk, those are without. And I just wanted to create a nonprofit to do so. It started out with the summer camp. I was pregnant with my second child, and my church, Jackson Memorial in Hempstead. I started the camp there. I think we literally had 6 kids there, and I can't tell me no.
Right? Come on.
I didn't have a building. I said, I'm just going to start a camp. Why not?
Love it.
And we went from there to renting out Roosevelt PAL.
Right.
And then I said, okay, the nonprofit is going well. We received grants. We were doing really well.
Now, when you're saying, I'm sorry, when you're saying we, as in like your team, your family, like, okay, so was this you putting funds together on your own?
Yes. A lot of it was my own funds. A lot of it was retirement. So we'll talk about that, because retirement is different. You retire, and then you have a retirement plan.
Right.
So when I decided
Help
to
somebody
leave,
with that one.
when I left the DOE, I decided to take my funds that was left. And I don't want you to take my retirement money and you invest and then give me. I'm going to take it and invest in my plans and my future. So I took that money, and Julia's helped me. We had started other business, and I took that to start the nonprofit and fund it. And I've been funding it ever since. With help. I write grants. I'm a grant writer. And when I say we, I have a little sister who's 30.
I love
And
her.
yes, and one thing about being who I am is that if I went through it, you should never have to go through it.
Right. Come on, Monique.
So I'm open of my life and the things that I've gone through because I need those under me to understand, one, why I make decisions of who I am based on some things that happened to me, and two, you should never have to go through it if I went through it.
Yes.
And I just can't tell you no. So our philosophy of being parents, we don't just tell our kids no. We tell them why and we let them choose.
Right.
So
Oh, I love that.
my sister woke up and decided that, working for someone may not be her. And why should she if her sister started a nonprofit?
Come on.
Right? So
the example.
And Julius told me that why go outside of the family where the one person I can trust is someone I'm grooming or, family. Yeah. So she has ran the nonprofit. We have a building in Freeport now on Garden Bottom. Awesome. It is about 1,900 square feet. We call it Suite 3. And that's where the nonprofit sits and stays. And then what else? I feel I'm so humbled.
I'm just excited. Really like I'm ready to cry. Y'all know I'm a punk Jesus and maybe a punk chef.
We did youth programs out of there. We bought the first coding with Amazon. Gave us a lot of money to do coding out of 2 buildings.
All right, explain that. Because I want you to share all that you're doing. She's doing so much. This is like
this is hard.
Yeah, but I want you to help people to understand that they too can do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of the nonprofits, you can do with your eyes closed in 10 minutes, right? And we help nonprofits and businesses set it up. So to segue into that, we have the nonprofit. My sister has her own business consulting
company. Okay, sis.
Yes, so she helps those people start businesses.
Can you mind sharing her name?
Oh yeah, wait, she's gonna kill me.
No, I want you to plug some people
Taisha Business Bar. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all linked. It's on the Instagram. Her LinkedIn.
Everything will be in the details on this live on YouTube, guys. Make sure you subscribe.
And we use social media, so it's all over. But we help people start their nonprofits, the paperwork, right? Because another thing is, here's the deal. Just starting it and saying you started is not enough for us, right?
Say it.
So we are disadvantaged to a point where we don't have the necessary tools, like I said, and resources to get where we need to go. So our goal is to get people to get businesses official, right? Not sole proprietors, LLCs, S corp corporations, and work that dream officially on paper.
Right.
So you can see I'm such a teacher. I use my hands.
I love it. We all in this thing. I love it.
So we help people start businesses, reconstructing your business, reframing your organization. I help people write grants, any paperwork that you need. Because remember, I've worked in the nonprofit, I worked in education, and I worked in business. And that's where my degrees all follow me. So we assist people with starting businesses.
Now, I want you to kind of, if you can, which you clearly can't, but I want you to tap into the difference between grants and, loans and things of that nature. Everybody don't really know the difference. Yeah. People like to talk like they know, but they really don't. And you'll be surprised what you can get approved for in reference to having the right grant writer.
Yeah, or having your paperwork. So the difference between, we have FCA here, and we have small nonprofits here.
Explain what that is.
Right? What?
Like when you give the acronyms, like
Family and Children Association is a nonprofit in Hempstead that serves our community. I know some people that work there. They are no different than my nonprofit. Right.
Say that.
Need to have, and I've sat at the table with some. I've sat at community meetings, and I'm the CEO, just like their top CEO.
Right.
And the difference is having our paperwork in order, right, and being official. And I think that's most important. So my sister and I help organizations, people, individual businesses have your paperwork in order. So that's articles, that's your paperwork, that's your EIN number, and these are all the things that a business has, right? And I think the world learned that with the whole pandemic and the SBA EIDL, and you were online, and they were asking you, you were kind of forced to. Yes. So now people understand that you have to have those things in order, and that's sometimes what we fail to do. Is to do those things and have it in order, right? Have that business bank account, have things going through your business, right? Have your business name, be a CEO. Why wouldn't I call myself a CEO?
Yes.
Right? What is the difference? So I think that is where, and then so we have the nonprofit doing that. We have her for-profit. She helps people do taxes. She's open now to help.
Okay, what's that called?
Taisha Business Bar. What is Taisha Business? I'll come up with it. I'll tell you the name in a minute. And she has her own office. We also have something called Cloud Spaces. So we have the name Cloud. Yeah, and I'll tell you. Cloud Spaces is a business center. Okay. So if you were starting your business and you needed a place to start your business, you could rent out a room at Cloud Spaces.
See that?
So we help you. We help you start your business, and then we'll actually give you a place to run your business.
All you need.
And then I will help you to organize and operational your business and administrative. I'll give you everything that you need, right? Because as a principal, you had $1 million budget, and you know the other. So now you start your business. You have a place to nurture your business, and then you have support and a network there, and you can stay there. You can. There's places for people to do nails, hair. We have nonprofits rented out.
Come on in here, Monique.
So, and that's called Cloud Spaces. It's on Hempstead and Golden Road. 494. Nope, she's gonna kill me. I'll give you the name. I'm not good with this.
So you're doing very well.
And so after that, I then decided, okay, because again, if the zombies come, and we had to recreate what our community is. Do we have a lawyer? Do we
have it, y'all?
Do we have someone in education?
Do we
have our own enforcement? So I said, what is missing? We have the nonprofit, we have for-profit, right? We have business incubators, education, right? And I know people I know out there, I tried to start a charter school out here, took a different route, and you can't tell me no.
You can't tell me no. Listen, if you don't leave this episode with nothing, I pray you leave with understanding and telling yourself that that's your new affirmation. You can't tell me no. Put it on a post-it. Put it on your mirror. Put it in the fridge, my favorite place. Wherever you go, that's your favorite place. Put that thing up there that says, you can't tell me no. I love it.
Yeah. The state called me and just said, Hempstead is big with charter already. And, we love your plans. You have enough experience. This is just not the timing. And that's fine with me. So I said, okay. So I'm going to do what I think is the best thing to do. And being a principal, Julie's working hard. I'm working hard. 2 kids. I used to take my kids to another zip code, across the Mason-Dixon line, and pay a lot of money for daycare. Right. My daughter would cry. She wasn't happy. She has a beautiful spirit. Something was missing.
That's so cute.
Oh, Daddy wasn't happy with how when he picks up his daughter from work, she was discouraged. It was something with the place. Now, it fit my criteria.
Energy.
Yes, it fit my criteria. It was clean. It was official. They had their paperwork.
Good on paper.
It looks good.
Say that. Look good on paper.
But it was something that was missing, right? We could afford it to a certain point, but something was missing. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. I don't want to, because I have to work, because I have a goal. So, and being a parent, right? You got to make these opportunity cost decisions of, childcare, this. And I said, we still want to be great. So Julius and I said that we still want to be great, right? We have to get there for our kids. And I said, there is no childcare around. And I don't want to franchise childcare, because after a couple of times, after franchising and privately owned, it get watered down. Yep. I want something where my kid can go and people look the same. It taps into her culture. The people there resemble mommy and daddy, or grandma, uncle, sister. And it's affordable. And why do I have to go outside of where I live to get that in Long Island? Why do I have to, because the building has a beautiful sign out front, trust that place more than somewhere where people look and can give my daughter or my son that feel. Right. And I said, you know what? I got to continue on to bring in more. The camp went really well. That was only seasonal. And I said, I got to open up a daycare. I'm in education. The first 12 years of a child's life is so important to feed them and to nourish them with who you want them to be, right? They're a product of their environment. We trust them with the educational system. Remember, I worked at that educational system. And one reason why I gear towards charter schools and my own private institution is because I can make that decision right then and there. Right. I don't have a hierarchy that's going to tell me why my daughter is crying. It's simply because she's just not comfortable want to be there. I don't have to wait for you to change your policy. I need you to be able to know that something is wrong with my daughter, and I need you to have that in you, right? I don't need you to look at a curriculum. All those things we could train, we could develop, been there, done that. But I need you to know that there's something wrong. I need you to know that her mom is working hard and what they're doing and understanding. And I need you not to treat me like a number at a certain point. Yes. And I wanted to bring that to this community. I wanted to bring that where you don't have to go different areas. The owner looks like you. The owner is you. The owner can code switch. The owner could be here. The owner has her kids here. Family owned and operated. Everybody here is from the community. I employ every youth or young adult that's either from Hempstead, Roosevelt, or Freeport. Or
she had one of my little babies, one of my little mentors. I was like, I know somebody that got a daycare.
Yes.
She started working.
Yes, you tell me.
So this is not just words.
No,
this is not just
you know
words.
why? Because remember, everything that I do is based on how when I grew up. That job that I had at 14 changed my life. That paycheck, it changed. I've never turned back from making money because I had the opportunity to make it at a young age, and I realized, and God, we know money can be the root evil for people, but it was my way out, and education was my way out. So those are the two things of why I'm here. Is because education can get us information, can get us where we need to go. Every child here has to learn something. Yes. They have to learn who they are, who their family are, and their next step. Every mother, every father, every grandmother coming here knows that I care. Yeah. They know that I understand. They know that I am going to talk to them, and that I've been there and done it. Right. And that my education and experience backs me up, right? Because
say that.
And I believe in working families. So that's why I created. Now, CLOUD means character, literacy, opportunity, unity, and development.
Love it, and didn't even know that. I promise you I didn't. I just love the cute name.
Yeah.
So even when she said cloud space, I'm like, that's so cute. It's love it even
character
more.
As we develop the character of who we are, the character and culture. Literacy, because you need to know to read, to write, to think. Opportunities, because again, opportunities get you. Unity, I've learned that from Julius about how to come together, to be unity, to be one, and development, to develop everybody that comes in here and everyone that comes around me or anything that I have organization. I owe it to myself to give them some type of development or something that they didn't have. So I feel good, right? Because I had absolutely nothing, and not being able to trust people or the adults in your life, right. And they didn't know. But if you know better, and I've learned that in education. Right, because I have my my school buildings license, which is your principal license. They always come and say, "Who is the highest ranking person?"
I love that.
Who knew better?
Come on in here.
Who knew better? So I'm here. I know better. I know what it's like out there. I know what it's like in corporate. I know what it's like in the education system. I know what it's like in the government. I work for the city of Long Beach now as the director of community development. I work for you. Another thing about me is that when I don't know, I find out and I know.
That is very clear.
Right, so I worked for the U.S. Census. I was the census representative for Nassau County. That was a job. I now work for Long Beach to understand how a city municipality works. So every job I've worked, I took something from it to get me where I needed to go, because you wouldn't be able to tell me no. And every information, and it doesn't have to be a doctorate, doesn't have to be a master's. Any new information can get you further, and I have a plan.
Right. Let me I just want to say this, just to touch base.
This is so hard.
You have to understand, this is not hard. You look very comfortable, and this looks light to you. But I wanted to bring light that, keep in mind, she keeps saying, no one's going to tell me no. She also shows up. You have to show up to places. First of all, there's so many different things going on, meetings and things that are for free, where you don't have to pay, that you can learn about something that you didn't know about. Like, where were we? Kennedy Park. Uh-huh. They had something.
Yeah. I was there.
Something.
I was there for that.
What was it? Was something.
Yep, it was the.
And we both ended up in the same room.
Yeah, I was working for the census then too.
Yes,
yeah.
And she's talking about the census. Yeah. I had no idea about different things. So she just, you can do A, B, and C, and if you want help with that, you can reach out to me. And I reached out to her. I'm like, what is this? And she's like, oh yeah, absolutely. But I showed up. Yeah. I would not have known if I didn't show up. So when it comes to having meetings and different things in your community, you cannot fret. You cannot be upset if you don't know about certain things, or decisions are made if you're not in a loop, if you're not showing up.
Yeah, I have this thing where I have to get into the mind of the decision maker. So what made me do well, and the reason why I did well in education is because I looked at the role of everybody. Mm. So I treat the custodian, the teacher. I want to know everybody's position. I want to know who they are, and I observe and I analyze, and then I encompass that to then make better decisions. And I want to be at the table. That's another thing, is that I want to be at the table. I want to be there. And you have to have that profile to get there, because everyone's not accepted at the table. So I had to figure out what I need and what resources I need to be at the table to make these decisions. And I want to be able to control the education that our youth is having, because I just don't trust what's out there.
Say it.
So even with this pandemic now, I was the first building to have what we call learning spaces, where we provided families who children was learning remotely a place to be. Right. Because if you look at our demographics, we still had to go to work.
The facts.
right? We still had to be out there. We still had to make money and things like that. So I wanted parents to know that their child was safe, that they had resources here. I was able to receive a grant for To Bring More to do so.
Awesome.
We only charge parents $100 a week because they're not expected to pay for childcare.
Right.
Their child was just in school,
Yep.
but they needed somewhere. And I mean, my family, we all stuck in. I wrote another grant to get food. I built a kitchen from scratch to be able to provide that. So again, it is providing all this so that your community. I hope I'm sounding humble.
No, you are sounding humble. That's why when I'm snapping fingers, that's because I want to scream.
But I'm
a poet, so we do this. Like, woo, she talking. God, you better go off.
What children in our community needs, because we are such at a disadvantage. If you go with different cultures, they have everything from a supermarket to everything that they need. So I wanted to be able to provide a center in the middle of it, right? Because I could have did it in Hempstead, I could have did it in Freeport, because I've been in both. But when I saw this building, I said, this is it, right? Something big. And like you said, funded by myself, funded by grants, hanging in there.
Right.
But I'm happy that we're here.
I'm in love with this interview, y'all. Like, I promise you, you're going to see me keep sounding, because I want to scream. I'm a screamer. So I'm trying to, it's bubbling inside of me. But I want you to understand something that was significant, as she said, because if you pay attention to a lot of things that went on in the pandemic, like price gouging and all different things, people were trying to hurt people while they were already hurt. Mm-hmm. And her thinking, because of her upbringing, and you can't tell me no, but I also know your heart. I also understand you because I'm a parent as well. I'm only going to charge you $100 just so you don't have to have the anxiety, wondering about your child and their safety and everything while you're dealing with this pandemic and what's going on in this world. Yes. So that alone, it shows you character, and that, like I keep saying, she could be doing other things, but this is what she does. Like she's saying, I hope I sound humble. You absolutely do. And this is also to push the envelope. So even if you do sound like, okay, she's doing this, okay, someone else is taking it in and they're taking notes like, wait, she what? Oh, so she got a grant for that? I know it's touching her. I ain't even saying a name because I already know. I already know.
Yeah,
okay?
No,
I promise you.
I had to take on the job, so I really didn't have to work. Right, I had set things up, but the decision that I made as an owner, I had to take a job where I'm working, trying to fund this building, and I have a family, and I have things, absolutely. And it took a lot, but I did it, still doing it. So I still consult for charter schools as an administrator, and I work for the city of Long Beach, and I don't have to. Right? I gave up my car, so I gave up these things because I'm still that same little girl, right? That had a goal, and I lived somewhat of everything that I wanted, right, to do. That. I didn't fall back on myself. I kept pushing myself, and I mean that's a whole nother conversation of the things growing up, single home and without resources where you could end up. Right.
Say that.
I grew up with, and not to say, my 18 years apart, all the females. I decided I didn't want to have a child at 18.
Come on.
I decided that I think that that wasn't going to put me on the path where I had a goal.
Right.
And then, I said, I get older and I'm running around chasing a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old now. But these are the things that I said. I don't want someone to have to make those decisions. Yes. If I know the easy way or the route or the path, I'm going to give that to you so that you could do it. My sister does not work for anybody. Right. She helps direct here. She does whatever she wants. I will work. Yeah. Right? I will work because I had to. I'm that generation that had to work. But she benefits from that, and my kids will benefit, right? Because actually, my daughter knows that she owns the building.
I love it. So I wanted to tap into that as well because even with speaking to kids in Brooklyn and your path or whatever, I know you had to teach people that you can put your children on your payroll, different things like that, and they will.
Yeah, my daughter knows she owns learn these things. She knows that we own 3 different buildings. She knows Tai, that's her aunt that has a building. She gets to have a birthday in the parties. And, my children go to Lawrence Woodmere, which is a private school. And I make those decisions because I'm in education.
Right.
And she's so well rounded because our goal as parents is to give our kids the things that we didn't have, right? And time is so important to Julius, and money is probably more mine, but spending time with family, but a lot of sacrifice. And I tell people this: don't be afraid to be you. Be honest. I don't get embarrassed to a point because I give you the information, right?
Right,
So I
right.
tell you, I mean, we were talking how, how I'm feeling and stressed out over the building and I'm moving things around. And I want you to know these things.
Yeah.
I owe it to you not to go on something blinded if I've been through it. And I think that's what I'm trying to show the community. So when the pandemic hit, I realized this: we don't own a lot of properties,
Right.
So when the pandemic hit and I was trying to get the daycare up and running, I decided, I looked around and I said, people need to be happy and I need to make a little bit of money. So I said, I'm going to rent the building out and I'm going to throw events.
Yes,
And
she has.
I decorated the building well that when you remove the daycare items and furniture, it became an event space.
It was like,
and people actually thought it was two different buildings, and that's great. I mean, if that's my business model, I'm all for it. And to be able to integrate businesses, it was amazing. Where I was able to, during the pandemic, watch people have a good time.
yeah.
I was able to contribute to them having a good time. And again, my model is I don't have to charge a lot. Right. So it is the quantity that comes in.
Yeah.
Right. So I end up making more by charging less.
Come on, Monique.
And I have great, customer service. It's automatic. It's my spirit. So that attracts people to come in. I'm always around. I'm visible. And
she's visible.
Oh, I have.
It's not I have these titles and someone else can help you. It's hi, yeah, no, that's me. How are you?
But see, that's my point. I had those titles, right? So I had the highest of building titles. I've had, I've had these titles. Right. I was store manager at a retail store. So I've always had leadership roles. And I'll tell you this: a leader is very visionary, right? Right. So should be. Yeah. There's difference between manager, supervisor, and leader. Right. So at 18, I was a supervisor. I worked at Steve Madden in the mall. That's another thing. I ran businesses and things like that. And I when I realized I was a leader, that I could take something and vision it out for everybody, I said, I'm not going to run from that person anymore. I'm going to continue to be that. And I bring that here. So here's another thing I always tell people. If there was, I know my staff hates this because I say this all the time. If it was two schools on the same block, two schools on the same block, one school is high performing. Kids are learning, doing well. The other school across the street, the kids are not doing well. They're failing. Yeah.
One is excelling, one is failing.
Yeah.
Same block.
Okay. All right. I just live on Morton on the Heights, so whatever. I actually was from the Heights and the Hills, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, what do you think it is? Is it the kids? Is it the families? No.
Come on.
It's not the kids or the families because it's the same block. You know who it is? It is the adults and the people in that building that are making the decisions.
Come on, Monique.
That then impacts the learning and the well-being of the kids.
Absolutely.
So when I was able to identify that from my experiences, from dealing with people, from having parents, I realized that we, like you said, can change the narrative and control the narrative of everybody that comes your way. Right? So even what I'm doing with the Cloud Center, I have high expectation for my family.
Yeah.
For my parents. I have high expectations. So you're not going to come in here with certain things, right? Because I'm from here, right? I can pick up the phone, make a phone call. I can do that. You're not going to come here and disrupt someone else's learning. You're not going to make the decision. I remember one time my parents said, well, you did this and I'm going to take the child from the program. I said, well, is that your decision or the child's decision?
Well,
I said, did you speak to the child first? I said, I think you should talk to your child, ask them how their day are here, how staff treat them. Do they like the program? And the incident happened because we're not perfect.
Right,
absolutely. And I give you full autonomy to make that decision, but make sure you tap into your child first.
Come on and help somebody.
Because the adults determine, right? I'm the adult. So when I walk in this building, I am the oldest in the building. It is up to me, right, to set that vision and to set the narrative for everybody that walks in here. Because I know better. Because I'm the one that determines everything. I'm the catalyst.
Come on, Monique.
So I gave these things. I do these things, and this is how I operate. And that's what makes things successful. That's what makes kids want to be here, right? That's what makes my grown students who are 32 years old still call me. These are the things that are, to me, what keeps going. And the universe always brings it back to me. And that's why we're here. And that's how I developed the center, to have parties here for people to have a place to go, because I remember having a baby shower and I had so many stipulations to have a baby shower at
Oh,
the
I know
place where
that's
I
right.
had it at, because it was a different culture. I couldn't have
Right.
crab legs, I couldn't have
Come
shrimp,
on.
I couldn't have the music too loud. And it's so funny because when people rent from me, they're like, "Well, do the music have to be?" I was like, "No, I like the same music
do
you
you?
like."
Mm-hmm.
I might come in and
I
open up the
love
window and start
this.
dancing, right? What kind of food can I have? Whatever food you eat, this is a building for us, by us, right?
Say the word.
And even if, and I'll tell you this, because we'll go back to what I said about you can't tell me no. If the daycare don't work, it doesn't matter because I have to build it.
That's a fact.
Yeah, if the event
It's
planner
her
didn't
building.
work, yeah, I have a place to do whatever I
Come
want.
on, y'all catching this? I need
And
you
to sound
catch
humble,
this.
we have 3 different, places to go to do it, to give back to our people, our community, and these are just.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And this is just something that I feel I've seen and or experienced. And it's another reason why I wanted you to come on, because it's a little hurtful. I actually had a conversation. I don't want to say who it is. I was talking to somebody after my workout. I passed out. Y'all pray for me and working out, y'all, because I'm horrible. Jesus,
I
please,
can't
please
don't
do
work
your
out.
thing. I was knocked out. I remember I got in bed, but after I see the person called and left messages, text messages, call the person back. Just to wrap it up, we ended a phone call with me speaking about how I was watching a movie, Women in the Movement, the Emmett Till movie.
Okay.
If you have not seen it, please, watch it. Well, I don't want to push anybody to watch because, racism and things can be a touchy thing. But for me, education wise, please watch it because it's connected to the civil rights movement. But in the movie, when they start at the trial, whatever that's supposed to be, with the men, and the NAACP and those of color had to protect the mom. Because, of course, they were mad. She was going forth on this thing. And she meets up with the gentleman from the NAACP, and she comes on this land that is stunning.
Okay.
And she comes up the drive. She drives. They drive her up, and this beautiful black people, because we're beautiful, we're stunning, and they're all standing, waiting, at the entrance of this large home, and she's just in awe. She's like, "Whoa,
Wow.
like what is this?"
Yeah.
And as she's asking questions, she says to him, "Why don't you go up north? Where there's people who are more better." He said, "Well, what's going to happen with them?"
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, "This belongs to us."
Yeah.
And that thing just really resonated in my spirit. I'm like, we try so hard, to put our kids in certain places.
Yeah.
They don't want us there.
Yeah.
And like you said, if it comes down to it, this is my building.
Yeah.
This is my building.
Yeah.
I can do what I want for us in this building.
Yeah.
Okay, this school didn't want me at this time, but okay, I'll start my own school. And my children will see children that look like them and staff that looks like them.
Definitely.
And my mom is in the building. She owns a building.
Yeah.
My heart, where my heart is right now is more like creating our communities. Now, my question is, do you feel a lot of times it's hard for us? Do we get intimidated by each other? Like, you kept saying, "I want you to stop saying it. You're humble." You don't have to keep saying, "I hope I sound humble." Do you? You worked hard to be where you are today. So you don't have to downplay it. You don't have to dilute that. Somebody needs to understand I can be Monique Powell. And I didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, for being that I'm here, there's a lot of things that happen to me that people around know, right? Because I'm here. I think, but it is hard. And I'm a change agent, right? So the things that I had to do to get here, like I told you before, I don't want no one to have to do, right?
Yes.
And I also know I don't belong there.
Come on.
But I went there, like my plan for everything is always to learn or to get an idea of the other person.
Right.
So I sat at those tables. I sat at different cultures. I sat in different environments. And I chose to do here. And I'm at a point where, because of all of being well-rounded, I'm here. Right? So no one who could stop me.
Come on in here with who could stop me.
I mean, it could be an official. That I know how to talk to an official, right? I was on the U.S. Census. I know the elected officials. So I am just doing what I think we all should do. You matter. You be on paper. You exist. You create. You build. You find. You fish. Okay, go back to the Lord.
Biblical.
Yes, biblical. Sorry, thank you. You do all that to be in existence, but it's definitely hard. Do you know what it's like having high expectations for a mother who no one believed in her, right?
Mm.
Or having, I have fathers that come in here and I treat them just as much as respect as a mother because, I have Julius, right?
Yes.
So, the fathers come in, I say hello. They sometimes they go unnoticed, right? And they,
Say that part. Say that part.
So it's all those.
Shout out to our dads.
Yeah,
man. And a lot of them are getting custody of their children too.
Yeah,
Let's be very, very clear.
Yeah, they want to.
I'm not taking nothing away from the mamas because I'm a mom.
Yeah,
she's a mom. But I'm seeing more and more of our fathers, getting custody of their children and doing everything.
There's so much against us.
Oh my goodness.
That you have to, like I said, you just can't tell me no.
I love that.
I mean, at one point, someone complained about, the events here. And I mean, I'm official. That's it. Right? You do what you need to do. End. And you do your paper. You just really do things, by the book. But I anticipate war. That's another part.
Come on in here.
Because remember, I know what no means. I know what not having, and I vow not to go back that. So I'm well prepared.
Come on in here.
Just because I'm silent or
she understood the assignment.
Yeah.
If you want to talk,
struggle.
Right now, she understood the assignment, and with the assignment, she understood that there's going to be some attacks because people are going to be mad that I don't accept no. People are going to be mad that, okay, you try to close the door on me, I'm going to create my own door.
Yeah.
So I understood. She understood.
Yeah, I reach out. I mean, listen, I have my ways of doing things. I reached out to people for support. I didn't get the support. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still here.
Come on in here.
I'm still going to be, because I have a plan and I'm going to stick to it. But it's definitely trials and tribulations being here. It was a lot for me to be back home to do this because it comes with Monique Powell, right? The Monique who went to ABGS middle school, the Monique who walked to Jackson Memorial, who used to walk on the heights. I have friends, I have dwellings here, and it's a lot for people to take you seriously as well. So
say that.
I stepped into the school district, the school district, and I said, I fit this criteria.
Come on.
I have masters, I have this, I started schools. Let me be your principal. Yeah. But it just wasn't. That wasn't me.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't me to be the principal.
That wasn't the one.
Yeah, but it was me to start this because I'm going to start young. So the daycare is that I'm going to start with the babies. Yeah. And I'm going to do what other cultures and other places do is you follow your youth.
Absolutely.
You follow them. And my plan is to follow them however way I can. But to answer your question, I have to be an impact. What else is left? I've done it. You definitely have to be an impact for your community.
I love this. This child acted like she was nervous. I'm done right now. This is too much. I'm done. All right. So let me ask this. So it's just you and your sister. You have one sibling?
I actually have a 31-year-old sister. I have a 20. He's still 16 to me, but I believe he's 22 brother. And it's just us three. I'm the oldest. It's a lot being the oldest. It's a lot. I'm the eldest. But it's just us. Julius helps us out here. This is family owned and operated. We cry together. We love. We fight. My grandmother is here. She works with the kids. I employ families. But I keep it tight knit because that's what our kids need to see. Right? They need to know what it looks like.
Yes.
It's really just us. My sister has her boyfriend. He has his own business now.
Right.
Yes, he has Kid Bully Clothing, and he has Brothers Printing Shop in Lynbrook. So you plant the seed.
Yes,
you show that it's easy. Then people start doing
possible.
I sat here. Let me give you some horror story. I sat here one day recently with my lights being cut off, and I sat
in here.
Yeah. And I sat here because of pandemic at PSEG, and I was like, whew. And I was like, I'm going to cry. And who walks through the door? My sister. Right? And she was like, nope. No.
We ain't doing that today.
We ain't doing this.
Not today. No. Come on, sis.
You know what she said to me? She said, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
She was like, you'll figure it out.
She looking at her sister like, you always do.
Yeah. She's like,
you understand what she's saying to you. Her younger sister came in the building while she about to get emotional. She's like, we ain't doing that. Because you always make it happen.
Lights got turned on the next day. I never forget. I had an event, and I'm like, because I don't like tell people no. And I'm like, I'm just looking their money back. I'm trying to figure out. Made a couple of phone calls, and it happened. And the lights got turned on. So it happens. These things happen, and I think I've learned the difference between that thin line of being weak and being strong and resilient, and it's to move the matter, keep going.
Yeah.
And it's the, you can't tell me no, but it
Did
is,
you hear
it's
that
not
part?
good. I'm not on Instagram.
Yeah.
This is a lot of work. This is 3,500 square feet. This building, the other we have is like 1,900 square feet. We have enough, these things, it comes with so much. But every day I wake up because I have 10 people on payroll.
Yeah.
Right? I have families, and that's what feels good. It comes back. Being a good person matters.
Come on and
So there's something that you said in the beginning. It was like I was always this bubbly person,
Yeah.
because I knew that mattered. I was welcome in places I shouldn't have been because of my personality,
Say that part.
because of my character, and that is what got me through the door.
Yeah.
The degrees was just a paper to get me through the door.
Specific doors, yes.
Yes, right. And I mean, I didn't have the best education. I'm not going to talk bad. I just didn't have those resources.
Come on.
So there's always that insecurity of walking in a room and you're grammatically, not on point. Because again, I had 12th grade English teachers, and I think that graduating class, we know exactly what happened. And I lost because of that.
Right.
Which is why, as a principal, I retain staff and I treat people well. Again, the adults make the decision for those under. The oldest make the decision. So I just had to make sure I had that opportunity. And so being a good person was always on the top of my list because that opened up certain doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to be nice. Like, you'll be surprised. Just being nice on someone else's bad day can make the difference in something like her looking for something with a grant, and she run into the person that she actually treated nice probably weeks ago, and they remember feeling some type of way or feeling better, and they're like, oh, you wanted this? Oh, I'm the person to speak to. Well, let me direct you to this person, just because she was nice.
Yeah.
So let's just, it sounds cliche, it sounds small, but it's really a big deal, how you treat people. People remember energy. People remember how you made them feel. So be mindful that when you're trying to make strides in certain things and you want people to take you serious, they remember how it felt when they encountered you. So, thank you so much for saying that. So I wanted to go back a little bit, because, and you just correct me if I'm wrong, growing up the way you grew up, if you would like to share details, you're welcome to do so. But it sounds like, whatever went on with your childhood, you made sure in your mind you were like, I'm going to be beyond.
Yeah. I mean, once I had a job and I realized money can take you so far, a good attitude could take you far, and the determination, I kept on going. But I mean, in my childhood, I grew up on, my father's family lives on the hills, and then my mother's family was on the heights. I was in between two. My father was absent for a time, but his family was still here. I have cousins, small knit family on both sides. A lot of figuring out who I am. I just didn't understand how I was brought up this way, because there was something in me that always wanted more. I was on a Girl Scout cookie box. I entered myself in a pageant. I was the only Black girl.
You entered yourself?
Yes, I took it. My mother would tell you I took,
because you said
I entered myself. I filled out the paper.
That's too, right?
Yeah, I went to Nassau in 12th grade. Remember, we had an early release.
Yeah.
So I did participation in government. I did the English 12 class. I was done by like 10 o'clock.
Right.
Now, statistically, those are the kids that don't want to come to school every day. Because why am I coming to school for 2 hours, right? So I started like not coming to school. And Miss Ford also went to my church. Right. Which is a whole nother. The fact that she went to my church, I knew that she would tell my great grandmother that I wasn't doing good in school. Right. So I said, all right, I got to get together. Right. Right. So something had to keep me.
She said, I don't want these problems.
But this is what I don't like with education. I wanted more.
Right.
No one could give me more.
Come on.
I had to search. So I went to Nassau. I was like, well, let me just take a class to see if college is even for me before I do it. Let me see if it's worth me doing an SAT and all that. I went to Nassau and I took an English 101 class. It was $700 because I didn't have a degree. They considered that non-matriculated. And I went to my great grandmother and said, I want to take this English course. She paid $700 for me to take this college course. No one knew. Right. So I was at Nassau in high school.
Shout out to grandma for that.
Yeah. Oh, please. She opened so much. And for
love
me,
the grandma. Grandma love is different.
Yes,
grandma love is different.
God bless her. God bless her soul. She taught me so much. But those are the things I wanted more, and no one could give me more, which is also where my intimidation comes from. Right. Because I like nice things, right?
This one could dress on
you. No, I'm
very, very clear. I ain't never seen her out of place.
No,
be very clear.
So everything of my childhood is who you see right now.
Today.
Right? I wanted more. You're going to see more, right? I wanted to do, even now with the cloud stuff is not where I want to be because I'm so ahead of where I wanted to be. that Julius just told me, like, you just need to understand realistic moves. You went from this to this, and you just need to be happy right now. And I'm like, you're right, but I always.
What you're thinking is like,
thinking,
I hear you, baby.
I need to have
understand what's going on in here. Yeah. I'm about to burst.
Yeah.
Because my vision is all the way down this way.
Yeah, I'm on the next move.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was really rough growing up, trying to figure out who I am, if I was smart or not having the tools that I know that I needed to succeed. And I could have been something else, or I could be exactly who I am. And I think, that you probably don't even know that you was one of my idols.
You told me that, and I was like, say what now?
Because one thing I could not do was split.
I'm done.
And the one person who told me no was whoever was the because I had to be on JV.
I'm done with this.
You, Naisha,
I'm done.
I wanted to be the cheerleading captain, but I couldn't do a car. I said, well, you know what? And I was on JV, and I accepted it. And I remember one game, I think it was Miss Huber. Shout
out to Miss Huber.
She allowed, and again, adults giving children the world. Right. I don't know what I did that day. I don't know, but she let me stay on the varsity game.
See that?
Without doing the split in the cartwheel. I think I did this. And I was looking around. I had the only JV. I had the uniform. All you guys had on varsity. And I don't think you was there then. I think you, I don't remember that. I'm sorry. But Miss Huber said, no, stay. I was like,
yes.
And I said,
because of the desire, honey.
And it changed my life. Couldn't tell me I couldn't do a split across.
I love that.
And I think that was the year after y'all had left, because you're 4. Yep. And it was Tabitha and Darcel, and I was like, I just wanted to be a cheerleader, and I couldn't. And then Miss Bacon called me, and Doc, and they said, you know what? We looked at your statistics in the middle school when you was on the basketball team. We want you to try out for the basketball team. And I was like, ooh, I'm not an athlete. I did it. I fell. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, thank you.
I'm good.
So I then tried to be I was the business manager for a day. And I was like, this is just occupying. But guess what? Guess what took over that job?
Say that.
I said, okay, you know what? And I regret it, because being in sports, extracurricular activities, you learn sportsmanship that I did not have. I didn't know what it took to be a teamster. I saw tunnel vision of Monique just, and I heard some people doing it, but it was years where I had to go shoot for the stars and be by myself. But again, growing up in Hempstead and you being, I think I put that on Facebook. Like, oh my God, oh y'all, Shaquana, right? Yeah. So it was just one of those things. But I was.
Shaquana wasn't a cheerleader.
She wasn't a cheerleader.
No, she was just around.
She was around. Okay. Shout out to her. Yep, because I think I left that message to you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. But so it's things like, so imagine any children right now that's going through the same, that have idols, that want these opportunities, and you telling them no, you're shutting the door, and that determines. And the world is harder now because of social media.
Yeah.
Right? Thank God I didn't have that, but
I'm grateful as well.
I kept it going. But yeah,
we got our kids committing suicide.
Yes,
because of the things that people putting out there that they should look like or they should be like, and they don't have, so they're taking their own lives. So we got to do better.
So meeting the kids where they are and giving them the opportunity and resources is just something that's so important. So vital. Yeah. I'm talking you to death.
I love this. You don't understand. This is everything. We want to empower, encourage, and educate on this platform. This is not just.
I hope I'm not making it seem that I'm perfect. I don't want everyone to. Again, growing
you
up,
done shared some of your mistakes.
Yeah.
You shared some.
In my gatherings.
You shared some. And what I love is that you're being transparent, basically saying like because of where I lacked, I had to push forward. Like if I would have just dwelled on what my parents had going on and what the town looked like to me, I probably would just be having some frivolous job. But I said, you can't tell me no.
Yeah. And you can't tell me no, and you can't tell me it's good. Right. I became numb. Mm-hmm. Right?
Wait, what's that mean?
So growing up, I guess being beautiful, being a woman, being a female out there with your father not completely in your life, you're vulnerable. Right?
Come on.
And so I didn't want someone to compliment me, and it went to my head.
Okay. Explain that, though.
So working and going places, a man can look at you and say you're beautiful. It throws you off whack.
Okay.
I didn't want to be stirred away. I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't need you to compliment me for me to keep on going. I told myself it was okay. So I didn't want someone. So working in like a non-traditional, you'll have a man come up and be like, "Oh, you look wonderful today." Okay, next. It doesn't matter because I'm in charge, right? I'm in principal of the building. I don't need you to tell me I look. That does not matter here.
Right.
So I had to become numb because I call those things distractions.
Go
Right?
ahead.
Because I needed attention because, again, I grew up without my father. I was the eldest. I had all adults. I was the first here. My family came from Alabama. My great-grandmother came first. So I needed attention, but I felt if I focus on getting attention, it would distract
everything else.
So soon as that young man says, "You look good, you look nice," you gravitate towards it because you need attention. And I felt that will steer my decision making. That will distract me. So I don't need you to tell me my shirt look nice. I don't need you to tell me I'm beautiful. And I had to keep that because I'm a mover and a shaker. So you are interacting with different people and you don't know their motive. So I grew up not understanding love to a certain point.
So you had trust issues.
I had trust issues. I had abandonment issues. So who am I going to trust? A stranger?
Right.
And I felt myself at times, someone telling me I'm beautiful. I'm like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "Oh,
he's
wow.
Amazing."
Yeah. Right? And you have to
God.
build that. Yeah, like, "Oh, wow."
She's like, he's the one.
Yeah. And that's how we end up in the,
Come on to help somebody, Monique, because we know, listen, she talking right. Y'all probably looking like she said what? But she's talking right.
Yeah.
Soon as that chocolate joker,
Yeah.
6 foot whatever or whatever,
I think
or he got swaggy.
Yeah, what is Julia?
And he say something.
Yeah.
And you like, huh? Like your whole tone changed.
Yeah. Because you know what? In the workforce, I mean, it's not acceptable, but it has been, the Me Too, movement, things like that. But those things don't matter.
That's a fact.
If I have a goal, I need to be straight towards my goal. And though I can't have any distractions.
So were you like a late dater? Like, did you start, did you kind of start late? Like,
I don't even know. It's just so.
She's like, it just happened. Why how'd you be him then?
So I left the city. I started to leave the city. Another thing is I spent years running for who I am. So I spent years running from this leader. So I would leave jobs when I intimidate people because I thought that was the way to go, right? So people would treat me bad because I'm so impactful that I intimidate them that they make it hard for me and I run. Right?
Did you hear that?
So for
that was somebody.
Yeah,
that was
run.
For you.
I ran from who I was. And now I realize it's okay being who I am, which is why I could do this interview. So then I left the city to run. And I came back home. My great-grandmother, God bless her, was dying. And I ended a relationship and I wanted to be back out here because you always come back home. And I came back home. Wow. And running means I ran from my siblings. So we didn't grow up together. I left and went to the city and we'll see each other. But I wasn't that
present.
I wasn't present to show them. How are they seeing my struggle? How are they going to be better if they don't even know I had these struggles?
Come on, Monique.
So when my great-grandmother was dying, I promised to her I would be the matriarch. I promised her.
And what age was this?
This was in 2013. It was 2013. She was dying. I think it was November 2012, 2013. I promised to be back here because she was very into family. She built this foundation for us. She bought a house that was $40,000.
So it's almost like you had to come back.
Someone told me to come back.
Yeah,
and I love Brooklyn now. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love the city. But I came back and I moved back, and there was a void. Her death, nothing mattered to me. I was missing. That road was no longer fruitful for me. It was no longer beneficial, and I'm like, I need love.
Come on,
I need something else, and I met Julius. We went on one date. It was the craziest date ever. I know he cannot believe.
Tell us.
It's one of those days where you don't get your hair done, you don't get an outfit. I was like, he's from Hempstead. She's like,
we know each other. I'm done.
I didn't even care. I don't even think I think I wore Ray boots. It was just one of those
She's like, what's up?
He was leaving me messages, which I was against that. But I was like, he's cool. He's from Hempstead. And I grew up us women not knowing what we want. Right?
Come on in here.
My family, my mother and father wasn't married, so I don't know what that looks like. I just know what I think I need right now, and I don't regret it at all. And I went on a date with him, and then that was it. It shocked a lot of people because, like I said, I came home and then back.
Because I had no idea. I was like, I like that.
Yeah. But I'm a firm believer of not stopping what the universe, gives to you. It was the manifestation of a union.
His timing.
His timing. Yeah, and we struggled. I mean, we both coming from the same environment. We have two different paths, and he was more well-grounded than me because remember, I'm that selfish, get into a goal, person.
He's
like, you're not going to get nowhere without networking. You're not going to get nowhere without giving back to your community.
Come on, God, you
He's
bring
like,
us who we need.
Yeah, he's like, you can't act like this person. You need to give away some of these superficial things that you have hid yourself around because
come on, Julius.
This doesn't matter. This is family, you know. And I was like, I done dated
like,
all around the world, and I didn't date.
He's like, clutch my pearls. Who is the kid is coming to my life, making me better?
And he had the values that I wanted. Right? Forget everything else.
Come on in here.
He didn't need the degrees because I had the degrees.
You got
we both have to have degrees. We both have to have student loans.
Come on in here.
You know,
I'm about to go throw my shoe.
Yeah, he had what I didn't have.
That's what I'm saying. God will bring you who you need.
Community. He had morals to this day. He has a name for himself. He stayed where I couldn't stay, so he was heroic, to me, because he stayed in the community that I ran from because I felt he nourished himself and became who he was, and we both agreed that we wanted our kids.
In spite of, because where he comes from is rough spot too. I mentioned where I come from. It's basically like the same thing. Yeah, he's just on the other side of town.
Yeah, I thought he went away to college. I would say that, but he did go away. Good things, but. He was this person that was so pure. If you take all that away, again, that's what society dishes out to you.
Come on,
that's the resources and opportunity that his community gave to him, right? I went to another community to get something. If you take all that away, he had a good heart. He was driven, very well educated in community and human behavior. So I'm not human behavior. I'm business. I'm money. I'm tactful. It worked. That was the union. That was what I was missing. It was like, okay, because we fishers and men, like we can go out and start a business. He can go out and get a job. He can go back to school and all that. But you can't make someone be that, right? That and money doesn't give you that education. And so I came back with him with that, and we decided, and time was ticking.
They have beautiful children, and they have these buildings.
And to tell people relationships are not,
it's work.
Yeah, it's work.
It's work. Yeah. You can see the glitz and the glams of things, but the stuff that's behind that thing, people trying to push to be okay.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. So, be very clear.
Yeah. So we have Brooke and Julius. We have Brooke and Julius. And
love their names too.
Oh gosh, yeah.
They so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. Because my baby came to the Cloud Center as well.
Yes, he
came to the Cloud Center as well and enjoyed himself. So, like I said, this is not a frivolous thing. This is what she's actually doing. Yeah. So, just thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I had another question and it just flew out my head because I'm just, like I said, I'm learning, I'm new with this podcasting, but I get excited because when you have a vision and God starts to manifest it, you get overwhelmed. I get emotional because she's amazing.
No,
so she keeps saying, I'm trying to stay humble. Listen, do not, and this is for somebody, don't dim your light for anybody.
Yes.
Amen. Do not do that to yourself, and do not do that to that person who needs to hear your story and understand, like, I can do what she did.
Yeah.
So that community thing I was talking about from that movie, she's literally doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm literally trying to bring light to it so we can have more people get involved, because it shouldn't just be this one entity. She has to rebuild it because she has a vision. She's going forth in it, but there should be other people reaching out to her saying, we should use this.
When your idol call, when someone you looked up to call you, you're like, I can sit at her table finally,
let's go.
I didn't meet,
that's what it's about.
I would never do this again because
Sure she will.
I've learned, I have a path that, this year, let me reverse this. I will do this again because 2022, I've decided to not run for myself.
Come on in here.
And to show what and who I am so that I can go back to why I do this and why I exist. And it's to show others that it can happen.
Yeah.
And I'm here for this. It's growth for me because, again, I am a behind the scenes type of person because I've always had attention.
Right.
So being the eldest, being the only child, being a principal at a young age, being a store manager, I've always been there.
Right.
And that means for some of us, that you can look at these celebrities who become famous, you go in your shell. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable at times where I can go in the room and, like my sister said, I know everybody in the room. And sometimes you just don't want that. You revert to being an introvert.
Absolutely.
So, you think you're an introvert. You're not really. You're dealing with insecurities or trauma.
Help somebody,
because when I'm in the spotlight, it's a lot to be in the spotlight. It's a lot to live up to that. And therefore, I discourage myself.
Trust me.
You hate being in the
too.
spotlight. You
Me
hate
too.
being that one all the time. People are looking at you. They expect everything from you. They expect the highest. And sometimes you just want to just
Be regular.
Be regular. As humble as hopefully that sounds, that's why I decided to be behind the scenes and let my work show for it.
Go ahead.
Right? Let the Cloud Center show for it, because coming from here, people see me in my good, my bad, my ugly, and the worst. But it's really hard being in spotlight. So if you see me here, I don't tell people I own this. I'm like a parent, and I like that to a certain point. But for 2022, after what I've been through the last year,
speak it.
What I'm doing, I've decided to communicate and open up for others, and I hope this is beneficial to people.
It
is. I'll probably go
is.
take a bath in Epsom salt after this. But I'm here. I'm always here for people. Yeah.
Listen, I don't take it lightly that she accepted this invitation, because I do know her. And in my head, I'm like, Monique gonna be like, ciao. And she did. She was texting me like, Shanice, what I'm supposed to? Okay, then I said, I got you. I just kept texting, right? I'm like, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Like, I'm not gonna do nothing to hurt you, but somebody needs to hear your story, because you're dope. You're amazing. Like, somebody needs to hear the story, because there's other people. And this. Let me say this. And I'm just gonna be transparent real quick about not public speaking and things like that.
Yeah.
I will never forget my 6th grade speech. This when you know we traumatized, child.
Right.
Okay, 6th grade. My 6th grade speech. We had to write a speech for our graduation, and I remember I hated my hair because I looked like a little girl for whatever reason. I don't know. I think the people that I was friends with were a little grown, doing things I wasn't doing yet. Yeah. So they had like the grown up hairstyles, and I'm like, well, why they got me like a little girl? You know what I'm saying? Like I got these little whatever. So I already had anxiety about that. But I remember I've always been a writer. That's always been my outlet. So I remember feeling like I wrote this. I'm going to do it. And then when it came down to I said, oh my God, I can't do it. Oh my God, I can't do it. And one of the girls that I was so-called friends with, mother, like bust out laughing in the audience. And when I tell you that thing, I felt like I just went into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move. And then the tears just started. And she's like, I promise you, this is not made up.
Yeah, wow.
And then the teacher who was over our graduation just went like this. And I just basically sunk in my seat. And I wanted to run out. I wanted to disappear. I was destroyed that day.
Yeah.
And that carried in my spirit for years. Even as a singer, because I sing.
Yeah.
In church.
You're a target.
I'm like crippled.
Yeah.
And then once I allow the Holy Spirit to take over, then it comes out, and then I go sit back down, and everybody else is like, and I'm like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm serious. But that one thing can cripple you. Don't let it.
Yeah.
She just announced that this is her year where she's, she was staying behind the scenes and everything, but she's understanding that God is starting to do something different because it's so needed.
Yeah, I mean, to come from without nothing. I mean, I remember days of just waking up and looking at my peers who had it all, and I did not have anything. I think
so-called had it all. Because some of them didn't have love. Some of them didn't have love.
That's what Julius was saying. Julius was like,
some of them did not have
you
love.
You could see what I gravitated towards, right? Because it was what I was missing, and what I had identified was love. And to now understanding that I am love. I am the epitome of love, and I can create love and things like that. I went through a lot, and a lot of soul searching, and this is the ending of that. Plus being 41 with kids and a family, it's like, what else? What else do you have?
What we doing? What we doing?
I mean, I'm 40. I only got a couple more years of this. I'm tired. So I think this is where I'm at, and the old me would say I'm a target, right? The old me would be like, no one likes the loudest in the room. No one likes the prettiest. No one likes the well-dressed. Those, when I mean those who you intimidate.
Right.
And Julius has taught me those people don't matter.
Say it, Julius.
So now I've realized that
you know what? I cannot.
Yeah. You know what? You need a team.
Ahead.
So I will tell you this. You need a team.
Yes.
Right? You can't do it alone, and everybody should get a team. You should have your critical friends. Julius tells me his advisors, his people that he trusts, the people that met his requirement where, they could tell you anything, don't harm you. He believes family should not harm you. People and family could be whatever you define them to be.
Say that.
So yes, I have that around me now, and I develop that. I have soldiers. I have people that will do so much because I've given so much with my
One divine
so
connections.
Divine, and with that, now this is that year that people are going to see, and I'm not the old me. So I am going to be this person, and I encourage people to do that. Unfortunately, it took 40 years and so much because we can have another conversation of women and growing up in this environment, what happens. But that's really, and
God
this building is it, because I didn't know why I opened this building. I didn't know why 2 years I'm wiping out my savings, and we couldn't move further as a family because I put so much in this. But this building is like the oracle. It is the nuclei of everything that represents me. And I have to keep it open until I decide.
The decision maker.
Yeah, right. Because I'm worried about that. But it's when I decide, and if it calls quit or this is not it, I have the capability of doing something else. So I encourage people, and I guess I'm talking to myself because
you better speak it.
But I don't want to keep talking. But yeah,
no, you better speak. You are freeing somebody, Monique. I want you to understand and be very. You are freeing You are freeing someone. You are inspiring someone, and you are pushing someone. Because you got to understand, especially, and I'm going to keep going back to the pandemic thing. For some, the pandemic pushed them to do things that they had pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Like going to school, taking online classes, starting a business, learn about the difference between LLCs and S corps and things of that nature. Sometimes, and just like, I got to go back, to your childhood. Yeah. You put in your mind, I know there's more than Hempstead.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what pushed you. Something had to happen, or you had to endure something that said,
not to cut you
I want more than this.
When you realize there's more and you can still make a decision to be where you're at is more powerful than anything.
You better say it.
So I knew that there was more, but the fact that I was able to make a decision and be okay and come back or be around, and that was the pivotal part of my life, because I hid away. I said, why are you coming back to a community that didn't give you
nothing that you
needed, right? That couldn't even give you a letter of recommendation to a college. Right. I walked into Old Westford and said, y'all need to accept me. What do I need to do? Right? Because I was lost. And we know not having those resources where to go. But to know that there's more and want to come back, it's okay. And I'm saying this for us who's here, who's doing it, and looking for more over side of the rainbow or the white picket fence. It's what happens here.
Come on and say it.
Matters, and it's how you design and create it. And I lost years doing it. I don't want nobody else to lose years doing it. You are. And I talked to some of the parents here. I have parents that had a past due amount from the camp. And I'm like, the fact that you made that decision to bring your child somewhere like here, that is more impactful, right? We're not gyrating, right? We're not cursing in the building. They're loved here. They're learning new things. They're going beyond what their school can do, because I can do more than a school, right? Because I'm not governed by a school, so I can be more impactful. That's more important than whatever is in our head or what we think is acceptable in that. And that's what I'm trying to emulate here, that it's okay to be here. Yeah. It's okay to be from Hempstead when on the school district is one of the worst school districts. So what? Our kids are more than a school district. Absolutely. It is our community and the village to raise them, and let that be. They learn more outside of the school than anything, or that's what we're supposed to teach. Right. So that's just what I'm trying to say.
Love this, guys. Love this.
Oh, Lord,
do you see why? Do you see why? And she was going to probably be like,
I was going to
okay, it's Shanice. I'm going to say yeah, but maybe she'll cancel.
Yeah, I was like, you sure you want to cancel?
I said no.
The building.
I said, boo, not today. My schedule tight.
I told my grandma, I said, come open up the building in advance, maybe just to kick.
But this is why.
Thank you. I open the door to anybody that, to a certain point, because I am no longer spreading myself too much. Because
you're not.
Something, but we
don't pray, honey.
It's I'm here for anybody as much as possible if I can, to assist, to help. We have the mechanism in place to assist our community, whether you want to start a business. We help other nonprofits. They can rent out the nonprofit buildings. So if you want to do something for youth, and as long as you meet the requirements, because we're not just going to put anybody with kids, right? You can rent out the building and do a youth program there. If you have a business and you don't have a building, you don't need a building. God, because Taisha has cloud spaces, or let me plug it in now, on Baldwin Road, and you can rent out a space there.
Let me get the real information.
Let me get the real information while I'm here, because this is what this was supposed to be about. Because others do this and we don't. So let me, she's going to kill me. But she has the building there. Okay. So you could run your business. You could so let's say you wanted to start a business right now. You could start a business, meet with her, drop your kids off here, because I do drop it. Kids could be okay, right? And then have your own place. So it's called Business Bar New York.
Business bar.
Yep, it's on my Instagram as well. We have the Cloud Spaces, which is the business center. We have the community center, that's Two Bring More, and we have the child care center here. All
Love
right.
it.
So another thing that our people need to know is that I have a tax-free situation. I have a business where I could put expenses under my business. I have a place where my children can go if I need to be great. And I have a place.
I hope you're hearing and paying attention.
You're scaring me. I'm looking.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just hoping that they
So-
really catching this because y'all don't understand all the jewels.
And so that's for anybody here. If you need help starting your business, go to the business bar. If you need a place for your business to grow, even if it's just temporarily, because we don't take things to heart. We're here to plant the seed.
Right.
You can go there to run your business. If you want to give back to the community or you want something for youth, you can go to the community center. And if you need a safe learning environment for your kids from 6 weeks to 5 years old, they can come here, and we have an after school, and every year we do Camp Cloud.
Love this.
So that's just, and anybody could do this because I'm,
And if you want to learn about grant writing,
yes,
also.
yes, I have the Business
That's a
Garden,
big deal.
which is my own business that I did a grant writing class for $50, and people thought it was crazy.
$50.
It was $50 online.
That's like
and
free.
It was how to write your grant. I might open it up again, but people didn't take advantage of it, so I felt bad.
I'm mad
Because they paid for
I'm
it
mad.
and didn't show up, but I was there. But I do
We
online
about to-
classes.
She doing another one.
Yes,
Trust
okay,
me.
I'll do another
we,
one.
We putting that out there right now because I'm mad right now.
The business
$50,
Garden helps people
y'all.
start their business.
Y'all wear Jordans. That's $300, $200.
I did a stock
You
market
understand
game
me?
for kids. It was a stock market game for $25. No one signed the kids.
$25.
But maybe, you know what it is? I was in that dark year of not promoting and showing what I have. I had to tell the universe I'm okay.
I'm glad she said that. Just because you have a business doesn't mean people are going to support it because it's you.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there, beloved. I love you. We love you.
Yeah.
But if we don't see you, we can't support it.
Yeah, hence is why I'm here.
Because you know what I see a lot of, and this is why, I come on social media, I kind of hop on and hop off type thing because I don't want to get, when I say it's serious about me protecting my gates.
Yes.
Like my peace is everything to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning.
I'm telling look, we're going to touch.
Yes,
Touching it right
that's
now.
what I'm learning.
Our peace is everything. So with that, I try not to get too consumed, with social media. One of the things I always see that aggravates me, and I actually, look, I sound like a hypocrite right now because I actually made myself a little tank top today at workout that said, fueled by haters. But I want to say this. You start a business, you're trying to put yourself out there. Like I said, just because you are you does not mean people are going to automatically support you.
Yeah.
You have to keep pushing that thing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing that thing. And stop beating people up for not supporting you. Just keep promoting yourself.
Yeah, believe in your product
you
and
can't
service. Yeah.
tell yourself in your head, oh, people hating on me, so they don't want support. No, now people don't want to be bothered because you're saying they're hating on you.
Yeah.
They might honestly not see you. They may honestly not see that you started a business. I think now there's some algorithm thing going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see people stuff, sometimes you don't. But it is up to you to keep putting yourself out there and not accept no.
Not accept no. Yeah. I think because my business part of me is that I ran businesses and things like that. And sorry, my family. When you do that, we're no different than Louis Vuitton. We're no different than Coca-Cola, but it is the mindset of the owner, right? So, and when you get to that point, so I used to coach people and say, your Instagram needs to be public because you're asking people to believe in your product or service.
Yep.
We're in a world where we need to know who you are before I invest in you.
You know how many times I'm going to yell at people behind having a private business page? I said, that doesn't make any sense. Even just little things like actually putting your prices up there. Why are you telling people, DM me? Why?
Yeah. That's this new wave that when I have
I don't
clients,
want to DM you.
Yeah, I need to know.
I want to see how much it is.
Well, again, when I coach people and teach people that we're in an information world.
Yeah.
The minute you withhold information, they're going to go to the next
business. They're
business.
going to move on. They're going to keep scrolling, beloved.
Yeah.
They're going to keep on.
I do business classes as well. I think I need to open it back up.
You need to listen. This is what we telling her right now. The grant class.
Yeah.
What was the other one with the coding for the kids?
Yeah, I did coding. We did stock market, and I might do my business consulting
and the business
classes.
consulting class.
You know why? I went to school. No one else should have to go to school. Right?
Say
I
it.
got the knowledge that I should be able to turn key to my community and my people, so that they don't have to have the high.
And let me say this: pay the people. Hello. Talking to you because y'all can't wait. Y'all gonna run when there's a discount situation. Y'all gonna run. And when you start your business, you want people to support you and pay full price. But soon as somebody's doing something that can benefit you for the rest of your life or the rest of your career, you're like $50.
$1 million game, they call it. There's $1 million game.
You gotta invest in your vision, invest in yourself, and care enough about your business or your vision to put money into it.
Yeah, but that's what my parents tell me. I really believe in the cloud center, the cloud, the brand. I put my all into it. I represent it because you never know when people are looking or not looking.
Absolutely.
I couldn't, if I was a bad person in the past, I don't think that it would be where it's at, right? So these are the things that you can't control, but it follows your storyline, right? So, which is why I'm more vocal who I am, because consistency is another thing with me. I have to be consistent. So I've been that good character. I'm going to continue to be that good character, but that helps with my business and the brand and education and meeting people and things like that. So I not to keep talking, but I think that's some of the things that help. So I think people should be consistent. You have to believe in your brand. You have to advertise it. You have to be around, and like the business bar. My sister can help you. I can help. I'll open up some classes now if people.
She's opening up classes because we're gonna have conversations after this. I'm telling you,
I'll open up the building and do classes here.
Absolutely, and because she has the means, she has the building, she has what she needs in place. So you have to take advantage of the opportunities when they arise. Like I said, she was in those rooms. She was showing up. So you have to do the same thing. In this season right now, this has to be a no excuse zone. This has to be a no excuse mindset. You have to change your thinking about everything. This young lady was at 14. She knew I can get a check. Oh, thank you, sir. I will never be the same. Yeah. I'm going to do A, B, and C. At 26, she's like, I'm going to be teaching these kids about business in Brooklyn. No, it ain't Long Island, but I'm going to make a difference. And I know I have. It not only did I impact them, but they impacted me. So I'm almost obligated to come back to where I'm from and give back to what was given to me or what I earned. So this is amazing. I really hope somebody understands this. You can't just purchase this. This is everything. And this is us. This is us. This is melanin. This is God. This is black people. I'm so overwhelmed, Charlie. You don't understand. I'm one of those. I'm such a thinker. My screws are like going. So yeah, I'm bubbling on the inside. But I hope you really understand how awesome, her coming here. For one, this is not her thing. So it's God. And it's also not my thing. It may seem like, because I had people say, you seem like it's so natural. I'm dying on the inside.
You and me both.
I want to run out of here. But it's not about me. It's not about her. It's about the impact. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being transparent.
Thank you for allowing me to grow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you. Now, my last question, I promise I'm letting her go because she got to get the family. What is your goal for not just the Cloud Center, but as a whole? Like, what would you say is your goal for yourself? If you want to share something in reference to, maybe your relationship with the children, whatever it is, what comes to mind when I'm asking, what is your goal? What do you see next for Monique Powell?
Well, definitely, it's all about Monique Powell. And another thing is that a lot of sacrifice went into getting here. I've hurt some people. I've hurt some things. I've lost some things because I was on a straight and narrow path. And now I realize I'm there to accept where I'm at. If there's nothing else, accept this, and to rebuild the whole around me. So that is working on my relationship, working on my kids, and because everything is here now, and I have to accept that and be happy, and not overwork myself. Not stressing myself over things that really don't matter. If I look where that little girl and where she came from and how lost she was and hurt and without, and to actually admit that I'm fulfilled, I'm full, I'm nourished. And I got everything I possibly could want. That I think is to rebuild that around and to keep that tight knit, and my kids to really see that, because I could be an absent. I work hard, right? So I'm not home at times, and I don't. Absence with kids is so big.
Woo!
So my daughter just wants love and time and her family to be there. Tension. She doesn't care about the cars.
I got one of those at home.
Yeah, she doesn't care about any of that, but she wants her family, and that's what I gave her. All right. So I think that is what I'm working on, is to be around family, to develop. I'm okay. Yeah. So I can stop working on me to a certain point and just finish that, because I have to be consistent.
Right.
So what does this next step means for those around me, to be consistent and to help others, but also find my happiness.
Yeah.
Because this business does make me happy, but that's, I need to find my happiness and add it to it.
Yeah.
And be 40, 41, about to be 42, and to live and to say it's okay to be like this. It's okay to want that. It's okay. And to let the business go. This business is like my child, and whichever way it goes, I want to be able to be okay and accept it. All the businesses that I have and all the projects that I have. So I think it all starts and ends here. And I am totally 100% working on that. And this was started, and it's already January, so I'm doing it. I love this. So thank you.
Of course, I have a million more questions, but I can't, time. But listen, I posted when I made her flyer. Beautiful photo. Let me just throw that out there. I don't know what her little problem is because she's always been drop dead gorgeous. We gonna get her together this year, y'all. I promise you.
I told you why compliments and gorgeous distract you.
I know, but I'm like, and it's so crazy because in school you would never know. I promise you. This young lady, you would never know that. You would never know that because I was crippled by self-esteem issues. Growing up all the way through my dad, probably all the way to my 40s to be for that much. Listen, let's be transparent. But you would never know. But I was gonna say
the picture.
The photo, gorgeous. And I made the flyer quickly because I'm like,
hurry up before I change my mind.
Yeah, I gotta hurry up before you change your mind. And I gotta get it up there so people know to come on or whatever. Yeah. But what was, I started getting like flashbacks, a little something about cheerleading, in high school and different things we went through. And I'm like, this is going to be an amazing episode. Like, I just feel this. Like, it's going to be really, really, really good. And we went through some things just to get to this point. Trust me. Yeah. So, I know it's God. And I want you to really, I put in the post to have your pen and pads for a reason. And those of you who took in what I said and actually have your pen and pads, I'm praying for you. I'm speaking that whatever it is that you wrote down, that you're going to be able to look at those notes years down the line and be like, that episode with Miss Monique Powell that owned the Cloud Center. I'm not sure where she is on this day, but it changed my life. That's what this platform is for. And so I just got to keep thanking you because I'm in awe of you. Continue to be who you are. Mr. Julius, thank you so much for coming into her life on time because God brings you who you need. You don't always know you need them. Come on in here. You don't always know you need them until they start speaking to you and saying, oh, no, you can't be doing it like that. Yeah. I got you, beloved, but you got to trust me.
Yes.
I got you. So thank you for the family and the love that she's surrounded by, because a lot of the things that she's been able to accomplish, she probably may not have been able to do so. We have to bring honor to our support systems.
Yes.
And I don't think people do that enough.
Yes.
Shout out to the grandmothers who babysitting when you're going to school.
Yes, my grandmother's getting out. Yes, I moved her here from Alabama, got her a car. She's been helping me. My mother, my stepfather, my brother, you need that. You can't do it alone. Yeah, thank you to them because I never say thank you. I just keep going. I have friends. I have my employees that believe in me every day. There's been days where the bank account was zero. Come on. And they trusted and believe and they still show up. Thank you for those who recommended people to the Cloud Center, the families that are trusting me as I go through this. There's been some really troubled days, but I tell you, I didn't do it alone. I'm only reciprocating what the universe brings out to me, back to me. And I thank everybody. And I keep moving so fast because I have so many goals that I never took this time out to thank you or anybody that believes in me or have been supporting me. But it's great appreciated. And I show my appreciation by my results.
Say that.
And the more I'm supported, the more I can give back and do something.
That's the one.
So thank you.
That's the one.
Thank you.
Did you hear that part? She said, the more I'm supported, the more I can do what needs to be done. And let me say this. I'm trying to let us go. I promise. It happens every episode. If you have a vision, go forth in the vision unapologetically and be very, very clear. Like she said, she hurt some people. She went through some things. She recognizes that. And, she still has to have forward movement. That's for you. You may have made mistakes, maybe through ignorance or frustration, whatever the case may be. But you got to forgive yourself, keep it pushing, and keep your tunnel vision on that particular thing, because everything she's doing is not about her. It's bigger than her. She did all the footwork, but now other people are going to be coming to her to learn about grants. Other people are going to be coming to her to learn about, being a business. And let me say this. Be very clear. Okay, I'm trying to close out. What I've learned between 2020 and 2021, just because a person says they've been doing something for a long time does not mean they do it well. Ouch.
Yeah, yeah.
Learn your craft, research and look into the things and the avenues and the areas you are looking to go into. Don't just go by somebody else. She does grants, right? Look into grants on your own.
Yeah,
she has these spaces or whatever. Look into doing the same exact thing she's doing on your own. And then if you come to a pivot where you're like, okay, I'm a little lost, reach out to her because she's actually doing it. We got to be able to own when we don't know everything. You're going to lose if you're going into rooms like, I'm the one. And you're not trying to take in information or learn from the people in the room.
Yeah.
And you really may be the one, but you can still learn from that person that may be so-called underneath you.
Yeah.
Always stay humble, but stay focused and don't accept no.
Yeah.
When you don't accept no, you get this. Period. Okay?
I'm going to add that to my Instagram.
When you don't say no, you get results. I mean, when you don't accept no, you get results. When you don't accept no, you're able to have nonprofit, for-profit buildings. You're able to, first of all, trying to let us go. Oh my God, it's not working. When I thought about it, we brought up a young lady. I didn't even know that was your cousin. I didn't even know Erica was your cousin. Shout out to Erica from Sunshine Shades. Mm-hmm. When she had a party here, and then I came to a party here. Rich, shout out to Rich, and La had a party here. She's not just doing the business part of it, but people are celebrating. And going through milestones and things they're gonna remember. Like, oh, I remember that I had my wife surprised me with a party one year. Yeah. It was at Monique's joint. Like, it was at her. That's her building.
Yeah, and when people ask me, like, why would I want you to have it here? Why would I want you to go somewhere else?
Exactly.
Yeah. But like you said, I'm mopping the floor, so I just had a ladder. Me. Oh, I was mopping. I clean windows. I do all that. Mm-hmm. So, I'm here.
She's here.
I'm tired, but I'm here. And
one
that
of
picture,
your own.
that picture was me coming out the hospital that day.
That wasn't.
Yeah. You have to
and looked flawless. The cat. I don't know what she talking about out here.
But enough of
love
me.
that.
Oh God, this is too much. Thank you.
Love it. I'm so godly proud. I can't say it enough. And shout out to her sister. When I brought my son here for the camp, super good energy. She's so stinking cute. Like, we talked about her boyfriend and his business. And that's the thing. You have to network. I'm trying to let us go, child.
Yeah. I open up this building. People come into the building. They communicate. Mm-hmm. They want to know. People believe that it could happen.
Yeah.
So even if the door's closed, I've made this possible for others to know that it can happen. You can take a building. This building was a 99-cent store. I converted it to a daycare, a building, a multi-use. It's a lot of work. I've learned so much, but I show people, I show my family, because again, I'm okay. Right. But I showed my sister, I showed her friends, that they could do it.
Yes.
My family comes here. This is their bloodline, so it worked. They're moving around. What would we be doing but not doing this?
Love it.
So I think this is good. And I'm trying.
No, you're doing it.
Thank you.
You are doing it, and I'm expecting to. I'm speaking it. I'm expecting that Monique is going to be texting me like, Shanice, I love you because this done happen and this done happen, and now this person's doing this, and this person reached out to me, and da. I want to hear the testimonies, that's going to come from this episode, because I feel it in my heart. I'm jittery right now because I see it. Like I said, I'm a visual person.
Okay.
So I can't wait to, hear or get the message, the flyer or whatever about her tax course or whatever, her business course or her,
we're transparent people. When we're doing good, When we're not doing good, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that I don't hide. I'm very consistent with that. So when business is good, you'll know it's genuine.
Right.
I'm not making it up. When business is bad, I go on my Instagram and I talk about it because I want you to know the struggles.
Yeah.
So I want you to know how and when and where and things like that. So you'll hear it. You'll know that this was, especially after I did this, I need to know that I got a return on investment. That's the business part of me that I do.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. And if if you ever want to interview Taisha or any businesses, if you ever need a place, I think I said that when you first.
Absolutely.
I said, why don't you come to Cloud Space if you need a place to do it out of? But if anybody ever needs something, of course, with discernment, but this building is available to the community and all the others. And as long as we can make money and grow and build our community, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. And that's how we're actually going to close out this episode, guys. I was trying, but it's so many jewels. It's God, it's relationships, it's being humble. It's the consistency for me. It's the, you can't tell me no for me. Like, I'm stuck on that. Here I go again. I'm going to have to make her a shirt that say it's the no.
Please do.
I'm telling you, I love that. If you don't remember nothing else, when you get off this thing, I'm not accepting no.
Yeah, I've been terminated. I've all that. And I'm like, okay.
I'm not accepting no.
I'm not accepting no. I'm going to keep going.
I'm not accepting
nothing I can't do.
We're going this way.
We're going that way.
We're going this way.
I hope everybody else.
Love this. Listen, everybody, make sure you follow Monique on social media.
Oh, yeah.
The Cloud Center.
Oh, yeah. This is,
to bring more.
The business bar of New York.
These are one words.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes. Cloud Spaces.
Yeah, you can share.
All that. On my Instagram. Oh, I can't even. I just not even. You'll see it. It's there. I don't even know what to say.
Everything will be in the description as well.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Please.
You will see me on Apple Podcast. You will see me on Apple Podcasts. You will see me on I can't even talk. When I tell you I'm overwhelmed, y'all don't understand.
Come on now, social media. Come on now,
everywhere. I'm gonna be on all the podcast platforms very, very soon.
Yes.
Support your girl. I'm gonna have more amazing people to come. I'm trying to get the flyers out. Out of nowhere, I just started using stuff, and I'm able to make flyers. It's God, because I've been paying people to make flyers for me for years, and I'm doing it myself. But God is good. So look for be on the lookout for other amazing people, just like Miss Monique Powell. January is my birthday month as well. So that's another reason why I'm being very strategic with the people I'm bringing on this month, because this is all also celebration mode. So thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you.
I love you.
No, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you for being you. Like, oh my goodness, God. Listen, follow her on social media. Yes. Google the Cloud Center.
www.thecloudcenter.org.
To bring more.
Yes.
Google that and look into the benefits and how to connect with her and her sister and her family. It's going to work. You do not and will not accept no. Because now today, you got to be accountable for the information that you received. All right? I'm putting it out there.
Thank you.
You're on blast. If you trying to start a business, she gonna help you with your S Corp and your LLC and help you know the difference between the two. She gonna help you put your children on a payroll so they can have their own business. She about to lace y'all. What? It's about to be crazy in 2022.
Thank you.
But listen, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Love you, and subscribe to Hot Mic with Lady She Podcast on YouTube. Bye.